All right, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Smash Time's Lead Therapy. I'm your host, Smash Time. And let's just talk about guns and cool stuff today. We got a really cool show today. This is going to be a good show. We have Dave Tim coming on. But real quick, let's check the chat. Let's see who's in the chat. Of course, we got In Crew. What's up, buddy? Philip Lim. Nice. He says, I'm pumped for TriggerCon. I'm pumped for TriggerCon too. I think it's going to be a pretty cool show. TriggerCon, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but we'll get into that. I'm in the chat. Of course, I'm in the chat. Jesus, what's up, buddy? Lucky Dog, how are you? And Fluffy, my man from Michigan, what's up? Texan 65, Rainier Arms Media. That's always nice to have them in the chat because, you know, they're somewhat relatable today. And that's it. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. We're going to talk a little bit about Dave, what he's doing, TriggerCon, what I'm doing, and then let's just get the show on the road. Without further ado, let's welcome Dave Tim.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Excited to be here.
Man, I got to tell you, your audio sounds so crispy. I'm jealous.
Well, I learned it in AV club back in high school. There are two things you never go cheap on if you want to have good video, and that's a good lens and a good mic.
Right. You know, it's so funny. You don't make fun of those kids, folks. I know I used to make fun of them a little bit, but I was in drama club. I was the cool kid in drama and speech class. I didn't hang out with the AV kids. I should have. My production value would probably be a lot higher if I did.
I used to be embarrassed to admit I was in AV club, but literally, we did a public access show every week for like high school sports, and then we did like the weekly high school news thing. That was like our, student projects and stuff or whatever. So, and
I was so cool.
Yeah, well, it came in handy now when I wanted to have a YouTube channel, I guess,
Well, you want to hear something funny? So my son just went into 5th grade, and he goes, "I want to be in the broadcast club." I'm like, "Okay, cool." They read the announcements, whatever. No. They have a green screen and they video the announcements every day. So today we're having monster hamburgers in the cafeteria and blah, 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 blah. So he gets up, every week he gets up super early in the morning and he's the broadcast club kid. It's kind of neat. Times have changed.
Yeah. And true story, my dream job as a kid was I either wanted to be like a DJ or like a game show host or a game show announcer. So I like used to do like impressions and weird voices and all that. And every now and again, I kind of bring that side of my old personality onto like the internet, but it's kind of fun. So I actually like doing this stuff and engaging with people. And, I like, entertaining in a way, like in the true definition of the word, not just like make you laugh, ha ha, but to like actually, capture someone's attention and intrigue them. That's always my goal. Whenever we try to put something on, whether it's our own content for the show, a channel, whatever it might be, is to really try to capture people's attention and ideally share some knowledge and maybe have a little bit of fun in the meantime.
Yeah. So, I tell everyone in my videos, I am not an expert. I learn about these guns as I get them. And as I do the video, I just learn. So my whole goal when I do a video is I want to take people with me on the journey as we go. That's why I have all my video reviews, I always have a second, third opinion. I'll just grab a random person at the range, or I'll grab some buddies or some subscribers and we'll go shoot and I'll just get their take on it.
Yeah.
And the last one I did with the Atlas Airbus, I had about 40 minutes of video I had to cut out down to like 10 minutes. It was just so many people wanted to shoot that gun. I got a little carried away.
Yeah. No, I want one. I haven't shot the Airbus yet. I've shot other Atlas guns, but I really want to shoot the Airbus. That thing right now, that's like the XC killer, like I want to see if it's worth the hype.
Hands down. And like we were talking a little bit before the show, folks, and everybody knows I'm a Masterpiece Arms MPA. Look, I just love them. All right. I'm completely biased. I love that gun. I've shot a bunch of them. And the Atlas is just a better gun. Oh, God, saying it out loud hurts. It just hurts a little bit. It does. Let's check the chat. Let's see who's in here. All right. We got Randy Adams. What's up, buddy? And Tactical Tina. I literally just watched your Atlas Airbus video. I've shot that too, and I have to have one in my collection. Man, if it wasn't for that price.
God. I know. We have expensive taste.
I know. What I get a lot too is like, man, I would never pay that much money for a gun, this and that. Or I can't afford that gun, but he had, that same person will have a safe with like 25 Glocks and XDs in it.
Yeah.
But I got 27 22s, but I can't afford that Atlas. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on.
Well, and the thing too, I will tell people is that it gets expensive when you're chasing the last 10%. It gets even more expensive when you're chasing the last 5%. Because let's be realistic. Like if we were to compare a Staccato P, which in my opinion is a heck of a workhorse of a 2011, and you were to compare that to an Erebus, the Erebus is a nicer gun, as are many other custom guns. But is it like the price is what 60% more, 50% more, depending on what you're buying and packages and all that. And you're not getting that much more performance. But like when you're starting to go after that last 10%, or when you start to compare custom guns and you compare custom guns amongst each other, and when you're trying to just squeeze out that last 5% of performance, or like with scopes, like a $3,000 scope is not, in my opinion, twice the scope of a $1,500 scope. But it's that last percentage is where every little increment gets really expensive. And that's, I think, what makes it tough to kind of justify some of those high-end things, to where, if you're really being objective, is it worth buying 2 or 3 of these guns? Well, no, maybe not to you, but if you're really trying to go after that last peak bit of performance, because like when you're buying these nice guns, you're not buying skill. It's not going to make you a better shooter, but you're buying performance. You're buying a tool that is able to handle better, that's maybe more forgiving, that is lower recoil and smoother. But that last 10% is where the money really starts to add up. And that's kind of my experience with, especially once you go down like the high end custom route and everything else.
Yeah, but I tell people too, it's like when you take your car in for service and they give you that really nice brand new 2024 model, and then after you drive it for a couple of days, they give you your shit bucket back, and you got to drive that home. And you're like,
yeah,
it changes you. It changes.
Yeah,
you.
I turned down my speaker a little bit too, so hopefully that reduces the echo. Hopefully my mic is alienating enough so it's not getting the echo.
Well, Fluffy and Crew have very sensitive ears, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the Rainier Arms media people, I don't know about them. They're kind of sus. So let's not take what they say,
I thought it was like an AI bot. So you're with Rainier Arms, and tell me a little bit about you. What do you do? How'd you get into guns?
Yeah, how much time do you got?
As much as you want to be on the show.
Well, so full time I do work for Rainier. I serve in their marketing department right now, and I work with an amazing group of people, not just in the marketing team, but in the company. We have just really, really awesome people. So that's kind of my day job, if you will. And the same ownership also does put on TRIGGRCON, which technically it's kind of a separate event, a separate entity, if you will. Even though a lot of people in the industry know that, it was founded, it's actually started in the parking lot of Rainier Arms back in 2017. But since then, it's evolved, but it's always been a parallel entity, if you will. So like, for example, the people that are exhibiting at TRIGGRCON don't have to have any sort of relationship with Rainier. It's not like it's a exclusive type thing or anything like that. Obviously there's some overlap, and we invite various vendors and things like that, but TRIGGRCON was meant to grow to be its own entity. So a lot of us at the Rainier team also do help out and work with the TRIGGRCON team, just because human resources. TRIGGRCON's not quite big enough to be its own thing with full-time staff yet. But so that's like what I do during the day. Is I work in marketing, but I also do a lot of testing and evaluation, a little bit of purchasing, and I get to work with, like I said, an amazing team. And my background with guns, it started out when I was a kid, in scouts and everything, but it really didn't, I would say, become more serious, if you will, until I was in the academy. I was a law enforcement officer for 20 years before joining the industry full time. And I had a really good mentor, firearms instructor, who saw something in me and took me aside and let me, shoot a little bit extra, train a little bit extra, let me help out wherever I could. And that really is where the spark kind of lit for maybe being a firearms instructor someday, because I really liked to teach and share knowledge. And then I became more passionate about it. And as that progressed into my LE career, I got into the training side. And then I moved up to Minnesota, or northern Minnesota.
I knew it.
And
I knew it. I could hear it. I could hear
dude,
Minnesota.
You get a couple of these in me, and it's going to really come out.
Oh, don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
That was my next question, because I could hear it. I was like, all right, he's from up north.
Yeah, up north. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anywho, did you go to the meat raffle the other night? Just down the trail, we had a meat raffle. We had some roasts and some hot dish, and you're darn tootin', that was the best darn hot dish I had in a long time. You know, with fall coming, you got to have a good hearty hot dish in you to you stay warm because hunting season's going to come here before you know.
I tell you what. So my very first time I met someone from Minnesota, completely off topic. I
Yeah,
was in Long Beach. I'm from Los Angeles originally, so I'm in Long Beach, and this girl from Minnesota, and her accent was beyond thick. And we were drinking in a group, and the whole night it got thicker and thicker and thicker the more she drank.
that's how it happens. Yes.
And it was nuts. I was like, where is she from? Is she Dutch? I'm like, I don't understand. I don't.
Oh yeah. My wife gets the. Are you from Canada? Sometimes you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's common. That's probably pretty common. So you were a cop for 20 years?
I was. Yes. Yep.
Wow. Did you
Yeah,
work
nothing
in the
cool,
jails,
like-
or were you a street cop or?
Yeah, I was a street cop for most of it. I was in small town USA, so like nothing big, you know, fancy, exciting. And I tell people like when I teach or whatever, I have a joke that I'm not an operator who was operating operationally. You know, like I was just a small town cop, and you know, we all have some stories or whatever. But when people like go to a class or whatever, nobody cares about the stories. You know, they want to learn, they want to do something else or whatever. And I always got annoyed when I'd go to a class and the instructor would tell all these war stories, and it's like I don't know if that's true because it changes a little bit every time I would take a class with him or whatever. And but yeah, so I was a cop, did training stuff, and then when I moved up, there was a large sporting goods chain, and I was fortunate enough to get brought on, and they had a shooting team, so I got to do that, and that's kind of my first thing in the industry. Was with Fleet Farm. They're kind of a big chain in the Midwest. And it sounds like a farm store because it is, but they also sold a lot of guns. So it was kind of a sporting goods store. And
Nice.
I got to, you know, go to a bunch of matches and do a lot of their tech training and sales support, that kind of stuff. And that really kind of introduced me to the industry where I was like, you know, I think working in the industry would be pretty cool. And plus I love guns. So if you work in the industry, you get to shoot a bunch of, you know, get a bunch of cool different guns or whatever. And then I started making videos to try to grow my training side. And then the video thing took off to where, you know, it just one thing kind of leads to another. That AV club skills actually did pay off.
I know it, man. I know it. My son actually has his own YouTube channel. He does like Legos and man, he sometimes gets more views than my videos, and I'm kind of upset.
I believe it. I think some of those toy and cooking channels and stuff, it's crazy.
Yeah, they do cooking. Like they'll make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean, he's 10. It's not souffles, but man. So, how did you get with Rainier Arms? Were you just
Well, the simple thing is I actually I had my own channel at the time, and I reached out. I knew somebody who knew the owner of Rainier, and I reached out to that person. And I don't know if he wants to be named or not, but we'll just we'll call him Mr. K. But anyways, Mr. K knew the owner of Rainier, and I was like, do you think Rainier would advertise on my channel? Do you think they would sponsor me? You know, I was looking to work with a really cool company, and Rainier was at the top of my list. And ultimately, the owner of Rainier, out of the blue, a couple months later, called me, and he's like, "Hey, I got your email. Appreciate it. Zero interest in advertising. No interest in sponsoring you." And I was like, "Oh, well, an email would have sufficed. You know, thanks."
right?
But then he was just like, "Well, but I do like your videos, and I actually own a channel. If you're interested, you can come work for me and make your channels on that channel." And you know, we could see how it works out. And that was called Guns and Tactics, and that was in 2016. So I jumped ship. I kind of put my channel on hold and went and worked for him, and the rest is history. And then I kind of grew within. So I mean, I operate Guns and Tactics as its own separate thing. I mean, we obviously cover some Rainier stuff because I work for Rainier, and I don't make any secrets of that. But it works out nice because I have a connection to get a lot of cool stuff. But I do a lot of how-tos. I do reviews of other stuff. Like I said, I run it still as an independent channel. So like even if Rainier doesn't sell it or whatever, I still make videos about it.
Nice.
But I like it. And that's grown, you know, into, you know, a decent sized channel on its own.
Yeah, it has over 100,000 subscribers, and that's phenomenal. Everybody in the chat, please know if you have any questions, please ask in the chat, and I'll read them to Dave. Also, I just posted a link to his channel, Guns and Tactics. I'm sure he'd appreciate a like, a subscribe. So click on those videos. He has quite a library of videos here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
And man, thumbnails. Now, let me tell you something. From one content creator to another, how important do you think are thumbnails?
You know, from a guy who was told by quite a few people a long time ago, like, hey man, your thumbnails suck. You can definitely see, it was probably about a year ago ish, where you can see like the style of my thumbnail changed because I really started to put more effort into a thumbnail. And do I think it's important? I do. But then I also get flabbergasted by some of these anomalies where it's a crappy thumbnail. It's just a screen grab and that video just takes off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, YouTube does that thing now where they start playing the video automatically. So your first actually 10 seconds is really
Yeah.
is just important as a thumbnail. But people ask me all the time, how can I make better videos? I'm like, well, your thumbnails are kind of crappy. You might want to start there. Because if you can hook them with the thumbnail,
Yep,
half the work's done. But so yeah, everyone, please subscribe. Look
I
at that,
appreciate
Fluffy
that.
just subscribe. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Check out his channel. It's good stuff.
I appreciate it. And yeah, so I agree. A thumbnail is important. I learned a lot about titles. You know, I learned a lot about trying to get that hook, you know, like they say, the first 30 seconds for retention and the algorithm rewards you. And
right. Or they'll make it painful. Have you had the yellow videos of death?
Yellow videos of death. No,
where,
what's that?
One? They just won't monetize it.
Oh, that. Yeah, I got a ton of those. Even I swear I read everything and it's like, it's at the safe use at a range. It's not it's like, I still, no matter what, yellow.
Yeah. I feel like a broken record sometimes, always talking about it, but man, I'll have a couple months where everything's green, 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 and then yellow, 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 yellow. Then I look and then like 10 of my videos are just yellowed out in a row. I'm like, I must have pissed somebody off, but
yeah.
All right. So TriggerCon.
TriggerCon.
Now, you guys bill this as the firearms convention, and I got to tell you, it looks pretty exciting. And for everyone in the chat or everyone just listening as they're driving, don't watch videos while you drive, folks. Some of the names going, you got Staccato, Kimber, CZ, Daniel Defense, Sig, Beretta. I think Sentry is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You got my guys from GOA have a booth there. I mean, there's so many pretty big names there. EAA is going to be there. And I'm telling you, what were you there at the first show?
So the very, very first one in 2016, I take that back. I think it was 16. Was actually at Rainier Arms parking lot, and it was called I have the patch somewhere. The Northwest Shooting Sports Expo, and I was not there for that one. It was a small kind of a parking lot event type show. And then it grew from there to where in the Pacific Northwest for, I believe it was 17, 18, and 19. It was in the Pacific Northwest because that's where Rainier Arms is out of. So it was in Tacoma and then Bellevue. And it was just an amazing, amazing venue. And the Bellevue shows, it was a high scale convention center. You walk in and you were greeted with like SHOT Show level ambience, you know, and
really?
like curtains and signage and banners. And it was really, really cool. And then obviously, so I went to all those. I went as a creator. So I covered the show. And if you guys really wanted to be so inclined, you can check out the playlists. And, you know, we did booth videos and stuff back then. And it was an awesome show, awesome experience because it was a big enough show to make it worth your time, but small enough to where you could get to everything. And usually the players that were there were good players. Like you'd have higher level people at those company booths, like either owners, founders, or directors, or, you know, like high level people that as a creator you could talk to and you're talking to the right person. Or like for me, I wanted to like gun nerd out over something and I was talking to the right person. Well, then obviously COVID happened and 20 and 21 COVID it out. And come 22, there was plans made to bring the show to the Midwest. And last year we did have it in Kansas, but it was out at a really, really cool hunting lodge resort area. But the downside is it took forever to get to. Lodging was limited. There was limited food. It was a long commute from Wichita, but it was a cool location once you were there because everything was there. But the format of the show was different. It was everything was range and expo all in one on the 2 days. So everything was 2 range days, and there was like a non-shooting, you know, expo area. Whereas the previous show had always been a range day and then 2 show days. So, you know, we took a lot of feedback, and I wasn't on the, you know, the TriggerCon team last year. I was helping out a little bit with some of the media stuff, some of the marketing stuff, but we learned a lot of lessons in kind of the after action of you, if you will. And this year we wanted to go back to that range day arena show, except for we flipped it. So, because one of the complaints we heard was people would be at the show and be like, "Yeah, you missed it. You could have shot this at range day, on Thursday." And they were like, "I didn't even know there was a range day." Like, yeah, it was range day and then show. But so this year we're doing see it, then shoot it is the motto. So we have Friday and Saturday is the show days, and then Sunday is the range day. So
I like
see
that
it, then
format
shoot it
much
is the
better.
motto.
That format seems like it's fantastic. Let's look in the chat real quick. We got Vanessa Kitty's in the chat, a longtime subscriber. Lucky Dog, as long as the title is not consistently clickbaity. Oh, he's talking about the thumbnails.
Yep.
You can't. I've done 2 clickbait titles, and I always kind of feel bad. We have Renee. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's a very nice young lady, and she's always in the SAR USA booth. She shoots for them. I always see her and her dad at the show. I hope.
Renee, I think I just got your badge set up today. We're looking forward to having you.
How do you pronounce her last name? Bench. Yeah.
I just call her Renee. I've never met her. Renee, can you phonetically spell out your last name in the chat so we don't butcher it?
I'm butchering it. But yeah, she's a really cool kid. It's funny. She always has this real bedazzled pistol, and she'll take it out and let all the people look at it and check it out. Very cool. Very cool young lady. JC9's in the chat. Philip Lim, TriggerCon is going to be a blast. I hope so. I'm positive it's
oh boy. And Chao Tige, what?
In Chao Tige? Oh, man. I'm gonna have to meet you in person and ask you.
I don't believe that that's true. I think she's pulling our leg.
I think she's just messing with us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so TriggerCon's 3 days. What is the layout?
Layout's pretty cool. We're at an arena. So
if I'm Joe Schmo and I'm driving in for it, should I come Friday or Saturday?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You should.
Nice. So I think media is a lot of early Friday is mostly just media for the first hour or two.
Yep. So one of the cool things with the show is that in the past, for a lot of the exhibitors, it's a trifecta show. And what I mean by that is that there are some shows that these exhibitors go to and they know it's just going to be direct to consumer. Like they're meeting with the consumer. They go to other shows that are industry only, like SHOT Show, where that's generally supposed to be industry only. So it's, direct to business, maybe some media, stuff like that. And with TriggerCon, we try to have it as all 3. So we try to have it as business to business, business to media, and then business to consumer. And we try to offer that with limited times. And we had that format in the past. And from the creator side, when we had that media only time, it was awesome because you had reduced foot traffic. You got some dedicated time. Audio was a little bit better because there wasn't as much crowd noise. And you were able to go in there and kind of prioritize the booths you really wanted to hit to make a video. And, you have some dedicated time. And we're doing something similar with that, where the first couple hours on Friday are media and industry only, and that allows that business to business time as well as the media time. And then we open it up to the public for your direct to consumer time as well. And then obviously people can meet their different favorite companies, their favorite media people. And we have an amazing lineup. Like the team early this year, we set out wanting to make this year's TriggerCon our best yet, and even better than years past. And we said, you know what, we're going to hit the pavement, and we would go to trade shows. We would hit up vendors. We would hit up exhibitor contacts. And we worked really, really hard to make a really strong lineup. And I was part of the team that was at a couple of shows, and where you're meeting with people and you're handing out your flyer and you're kind of make your pitch. And it was really cool to see the industry kind of respond and realize that, okay, there's some potential. And last year, the location maybe wasn't optimal, but we appreciate the changes that you are making, because that was the biggest complaint last year. It was just the location wasn't optimal. But we have over 100 amazing exhibitors, as you were shouting out a few of them. And we also have that ironic over 100 number is we have over 100 media and creators attending as well. I was just doing badges today, and I want to say we're up to like 130 some badges that I was writing out. Now, a couple of those channels have like 2 people, things like that. But it's we have quite a lineup. Yeah, well, who's going to be a hit? It's Honest Outlaw. I mean, he's a big name. Chris is. He's honestly, I think he's probably one of the top five YouTubers
in the game, and he doesn't have a huge production. It's just him and his wife. He doesn't have a giant film crew, and his channel is amazing. It's his
Yeah, it's super
personality,
awesome.
his
Super
channel.
awesome guys. Both him and his wife are just amazing. When
Yeah.
I've talked to them on the phone, kind of inviting them to the show and all that, they were super awesome. So speaking of which, if you have any viewers that are in the Midwest that want to go to TriggerCon, let's give away some tickets on your channel too. I'll give away some bang for the buck passes, which is a $50 pass, and I'll give some away in the stream.
Nice.
But they have to go to the show. Like, they have to come. So if there's people in the chat that are like, hey, I will go, I'll give you some tickets.
All right. Who's in the chat? Well, we got some people from Michigan. I know that. Let's see. Who else we got here?
Here's a little trivia. Did you know a Michigan person is called a Michigander?
No, I can't. You know, Dan, the firearm guy. I can't wait to tell him he's a Michigander.
No, this is legitimately a true thing. I was teaching a class in Michigan earlier this summer. I still do some contract teaching and stuff. And I was in this small town in Michigan, and sure enough, I was like, so what do you guys call yourself? I call myself a Minnesotan, and, Californian, whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, we're Michiganders. And I was like, you're pulling my leg. And they're like, no, that's a real thing. Michigander.
California are Angelinos. Everyone's an Angelino. Texas, we're just the best.
Yeah. So who's coming to TriggerCon? Who needs some tickets? I got them somewhere. They're around here somewhere.
That would be cool. All right, let's check. Ed Zachary, Fluffy, JJ. Yeah, Michiganders. That's hilarious. Well, let's see. I'm sure during the replay, there's going to be a couple people that'll hit me up.
So if somebody hits you up and they email you or whatever, get a hold of me. I can see what I can do. I would love to give some away live, obviously, but because it is open to the public. So that's what another cool thing about our show compared to SHOT Show and some of the other stuff out there that's industry only. Ours is open to the public. Now, yes, you have to buy a ticket, but it's a pretty reasonable price for the lineup that you're going to see and the things that you're going to get to touch and put hands on and go to the range. And by the way, ammo at the range is free. Once you're in, it's free. Bring money for a food truck, bring your eye and ear pro. But if you want to go shoot a staccato, go shoot. You want to go shoot a Nighthawk? Go shoot. You want to go shoot Barrett? Go shoot.
See, that's worth the price of admission right there. Because honestly, when I first got into guns, I had a ton of bucket list guns I wanted to shoot. And luckily, over the last 2 years, I've been able to shoot pretty much all of them so far, knock on wood, until I haven't seen something new. But for just like the average person that doesn't really get to go shoot those guns, that's a huge opportunity to get. I mean, you get to shoot a Nighthawk, a Staccato, and a Barrett all in one day. That's a win.
Yeah. Usually one of the longest lines is at the Barrett booth because everybody wants to shoot that 50 cal, just wants to say they did it.
The first time I shot a 50 cal, I smiled for about 3 hours. It was so funny. I was, from Los Angeles, and I was at the Angeles National Forest, and there was a 50 cal club meeting that day. My second time ever at a range. And so I got to shoot like 6 50 cals my second day at the range ever in my life. And the whole drive home, I was just smiling, his stupid grin. And man, it was so much fun.
Yeah. No, it is an incredible firearm. And Barrett does a really nice job too with their 50.
Yeah, one shot with the 50 cal pays for range day entry. Just about. Just about.
So that's probably Thomas who's running that one right now. He's one of our marketing team members. And then Phil, I saw him in the chat earlier. He's one of the other guys. And again, both those dudes, awesome dudes. I love having them, as part of our team. So they were bugging me. They keep me on task too. Cause like even they were texting me earlier. They're like, don't forget, Dave, you're on in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
I think Thomas volunteered you for this.
That probably sounds like him.
He was like, yeah, but I don't want to go on, but Dave will do it.
Yeah, well, they make me do that because I have a face for radio is what they say. So that's what the boss says.
Everyone, really quick, I'm going to put a link to his channel again. If you're not a subscriber, please like and subscribe to his channel. He'd greatly appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about Rainier Arms. We already talked a lot about TriggerCon. So Rainier Arms started out as just selling like rails, AR parts.
Yeah, AR parts. Our owner John actually started it in. I think he jokes that he started it out of a desk drawer, but he basically, like, he was telling the story of the first parts order he made when he started Rainier Arms. And he basically bought all these parts, like a long, maybe even his life savings. And he bought this box of parts, and he's telling his wife about the business. And yep, I spent, all the money on the parts. And she's like, okay, where's the rest of it? And he's like, well, that's it. Like this is the parts. And then she's just like, oh my gosh, you spent all of our money on these parts. We're doomed. And needless to say, obviously he wasn't, because he's a phenomenal leader. He's an amazing person, but he's also a phenomenal leader. And he basically took that box of parts and he grew it into what Rainier is today, with multiple locations, a lot of employees, a lot of family-based stuff, and amazing people. And then obviously, we sell our own branded stuff, which is really high quality. And I'm a little biased because I've been involved with a few of those projects, but we also carry all the brands that you know and love. And Rainier has always been known for trying to be, the new place. Like if there's a new product coming to market, we want to have it, and we want to have it ideally first. And obviously that's gotten a little tougher lately with some of the other, great players in the industry. And some people will call them, competition. But the reality is I'm friends with some of these other people, and
Right.
there are a lot of really good people in the firearms industry who are doing good stuff. But yeah, we started out as primarily an AR-15 focused outlet. Like our motto was taking the AR-15 to new heights. And now we've evolved and we carry all sorts of different firearms. And right now, like my personal project is trying to make us a go-to destination for all things 1911, 2011, 1911 double stack, because in my opinion, there's not one great place that has all the different brands. And I want Rainier to be that, because we carry just about all the cool brands, and we have some exclusivity with some of them, but we're also trying to, get the new cool ones. Like Voodoo Gunworks just came out with a double stack, and it's an amazing pistol. Like I encourage you to check one of those out, and we can talk a little bit more offline. I can maybe make an intro for you, see if I can get you a demo unit or something. But they make one heck of a double stack gun for their first gun out of the gate. Like they did a lot of homework. Their machine shop is holding incredibly tight tolerances. And even though it's the gun that nobody's heard of, as soon as I put it in somebody's hand, they're like, wow, that's pretty dang nice. Who makes this? And you tell them who. And then now they're no stranger to the gun world. They make world-class rimfire precision guns.
Yeah, I was telling someone the other day, he wants to be a gunsmith. I'm like, you need to put all that stuff on hold. You need to specialize in 2011s, because that is the hot ticket. And I've been telling people that for the last 2 years. It's ever since I shot my first staccato, I'm like, this is going to be amazing. And even
I would go grab one to show you, but I know like policy.
Yeah, they do yank your videos down pretty quick. But I had sticky holsters on, and he was grabbing guns right and left, and I'm just sitting there waiting. I'm like, any minute. They never yanked it. So that.
Yeah, well, even Geisley, they did their new product live stream. What was it, a week ago or 2 weeks? And their YouTube got yanked right away.
It's just some guy sitting in a room. Up, click.
Yep,
that's a no.
The algorithm.
Does anybody in the chat have any questions? Come on. Fluffy, one of my subscribers just had back surgery. And so he's hobbling around the house in a muumuu trying to heal up. Ron Wayne is here. What's up, buddy? Nice. So let me ask you a question. You guys started as an AR platform market, but now just from someone on the outside, do you think the AR market right now is almost dead? Because you saw, wasn't Bushmaster, but what you call it just went out of business.
Wyndham.
Yeah. It used to be Bushmaster.
Yep.
That's blew me away because, but if you look at their product line and what they were offering, it was kind of just ho-hum designs, nothing too fancy. And when you look at something like a Radical Firearms, which has a nice rail, like $600, $500, and then something like a Wyndham, which is, circa 1995, you got to evolve or die.
Yeah. You either have to be really so good at what you do. Like take Glock, for example. Everybody loves a Glock. But the thing is, no matter what Glock you get, it's still a Glock, And I will say that there has been some evolution between Gen 1 and Gen 5, but it's still a Glock. You know what I mean? But they do Glock really, really well. and they will likely always do Glock really, really well. But you still look at where other parts of the handgun market have grown and what other parts are growing and where things are evolving to where I think Glock is going to have to start like the Gen 6. I'm really anxious to see whatever that looks like whenever it comes, because I think
It's going
that
to
will
look like a
have to
Glock.
evolve some way. But
It's
at the
going to look
same
like a
time,
Glock.
you know, like they're their own, it's a blessing and a curse. Like the cool thing, the best thing about a Glock is it's a Glock, but the worst thing about a Glock, it's a Glock, you know, like
Yeah.
you just know what you're getting. Whereas with the AR market, yeah, you have to be either offering super high quality, like a premier brand. You have to offer a value, you know, like some of the entry level stuff that has a lot of really good features, or you have to be a really high quality, hard use, like some of these cool guy brands now. But yet they also put a lot of effort into partnerships and marketing and sponsorships and getting their stuff out there too. So it definitely has to be a balance. But I think right now the AR market, I wouldn't say it's nearly dead, but man, is it slow, because I think we're all looking for the next thing. Like how many ARs, you know, like the average viewer of yours or my audience or whatever, you know, like we're gun guys. After you buy a few ARs, you're kind of like, okay, what else is out there? Is it handgun? Is it night vision? Is it training? Is it stuff? And right now, I think handguns. And like right now, then everybody would go buy a Glock, or everybody would go buy an M&P or whatever. And now, again, they already got that, because like the Glock is like the AR-15 of the rifle. You know, once everybody gets one of those, now it's kind of like, let's get a 2011. Let's get one of those. And kudos to Staccato, like their marketing machine. And I used to kind of, I want to say I worked for Staccato, but I was on their blue team. So I was like a brand ambassador, I guess you could say. So I got a little bit of behind the curtain knowledge, but like their marketing was really, really good. Like they really took that company from when it was STI and really kind of did a nice turn and really kind of streamlined their SKU line and really improved certain things. And biggest thing was some really kick-ass marketing. Sorry, am I allowed to swear? I don't know the rules are. Sure. Okay. And, you know, it was, you know, a really nice thing. And I give Staccato a lot of credit for the popularity of the double stack market right now.
Oh, 100%. I mean, what's funny is when I first shot a Staccato, I was like, wow, this is the best gun I've ever shot in my life. And now after shooting some of these other guns, it's like, oh, it's a pretty good entry level. Mid-level. It's a good mid-level 2011 now. And, but it's fantastic. It's such... There's differences though. Like an Atlas, I would probably never carry. I would never leave it in my car. I would baby it. But a Staccato, I would take to the range, and I'd probably beat the shit out of it just because I know it can take a beating.
Yeah.
And it's a Staccato. It's going to run. And it's a great gun. The XL is my favorite. I love a nice, big, heavy, full-size gun. What can you go wrong? You know?
Yeah.
I love it. Staccato.
Yeah, my primary P, the very first P that I got in 2020, and that was my primary training, teaching gun, whatever. It no BS. It has 25,000 rounds on it, and with minimal cleaning. Like I don't like cleaning guns. I think cleaning guns is ain't nobody got time for that. You know, like every now and again I'll take a rag, wipe down the crud, and I'll just squirt more lube. You know, like more lube, don't care, more lube. And finally, when I did clean it, there was so much sludge and gunk in there, but the thing just ran, and that it's been a workhorse. But I got yelled at. Like I showed it to one of the armorers, one of the reps at Staccato when we were doing a class, and he was looking at my gun and he's like, when's the last time you cleaned this? And I was like, I don't clean guns, man. Cleaning is overrated. I wipe it every now and again with the rag, and I add more lube and I move on.
Well, let me ask you your opinion. You've had a gun channel for a while, 20-year officers. So and plus, you know, 2011s, and you're, you know, quite a bit about 1911s in general. Fair to say?
Well, I appreciate your confidence.
Hey, what is your opinion on break-in period? So sometimes you buy these guns and they just run out of the box. And then you have some guns that kind of have hiccups, like, oh, you got to break it in. What's your opinion on break-in? Is that myth? Do you need to, or is that just someone making excuses for a shit gun?
Well, could it be someone making excuses for a shit gun? Sure. However, the very first 2011 that I actually bought was a custom gun. Like I was shooting for that company, so I was on a shooting team, and I was just like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to go in and go heavy. And, you know, I was like, I'm going to go all out. So my very first 2011 was a true custom gun. At the time was very expensive. It was like $4,000 by a maker who's now retired, but it was a Minnesota maker named Grundhauser. And he at the time was a pretty reputable maker. had a good amount of grandmaster and good level shooters shooting his guns and stuff. But what he told me was, he's like, you have to break this in because my tolerances are so tight that you're going to have to, like, when he first delivered the gun to me, like, even to rack the gun with the hammer back, like the lugs were so tight that it was like like it had just that, wow, this thing is super tight. And I was kind of like, man, I paid all this money for this thing, whereas you pick up an Atlas, or I'm trying to think who the other brands were at the time. Cause at that time there wasn't as many brands as there are now. But or like a SVI. Like at the time, I was torn between like an SVI Infinity and one of Paul's guns, and like you pick up a buttery broken in SVI, and you're like, oh, you can air rack it and do all that cool thing. And then I had this this Grundhauser gun, which it was just like, all right, I'm ready. But the thing ran, and sure enough, after 1,000 rounds, the thing was broken in really nicely. And then I had to go back to the shop, and he would inspect it, and he would polish where it needed to be polished. And so his thing was that his guns needed a break-in just for that final burnishing, if you will. And then he would tell you too, he's like, I'm not going to hard chrome it until you shoot it and you get to know the gun. Because if we need to make cuts, if we need to balance it a little differently, and then, we'll hard chrome it. But I do think on some of the guns that are really tight, it might, break in a little bit. But the reality is a good quality gun that's machined to nice tolerances where lockup and I can nerd out over 2011s. Like I love working on stuff. I like machining stuff. I can, nerd out about all sorts of things. Like Thomas, who's watching, I was telling him about like his slide stop, and I was like, dude, you can't just throw that in there because that stupid little link,
right?
If that thing gets stressed, it's all about the engagement and the legs of the barrel. And, like I, use Dicom to see what, what the contact is. And then you can, radius the firing pin stop a little bit differently, like there's all sorts of stuff that you can do with these guns and how it all comes together. And it's not just a slap together gun, so some guns, they run better. But if you have a truly a good quality gun that came from a place that cares about their craft, that gun's going to run, lube it up, run it wet, run it dirty and wet, run it clean and wet. But the key word is you got to run it lube. It's a machine with metal on metal, need some lubrication, and shoot it and run it hard. Now I do have other custom smiths that I've talked to. Like I was having a conversation with Joe Chambers, Chambers Custom, like very high level regarded 2011 Smith. And I'm going to probably order one of his guns in the next year or so. And I was talking to him, and because one of my staccatos actually has his plate on it. And I was talking to him, and he's like, I appreciate it when guys clean my guns, like all that gunk and everything else that builds up. That just causes things to not lock up as tight as they can because there's a bunch of gunk where there should be metal on metal, but now it's metal gunk metal. And that causes things to, get a little, not as optimal, I guess. I can't remember what exact term he used. So do I think there is merit to cleaning your stuff and how things lock up? Yep, I totally do. Like I think it is a best practice. But I don't know. Like I said, I just don't have time for that. I don't reload. For example, a lot of people ask me like, how much do you reload? And I was like, the only thing I reload is magazines. Like I ain't got time for that, Right.
But I'm of the opinion, like, look, break-in period, what? A couple mags just to see if it works right.
Yeah.
But the 1,000 rounds, I don't know. That just seems like excessive for me.
Yeah. Well, I look at it too, is that if a gun needs to be broken in,
out of the box.
Yeah. Like what? I don't know, man. Like I don't really know if that's a gun I want. Like if it doesn't run out of the box after leaving the gunsmith, or leaving the shop or whatever, like what about it is out of spec or out of alignment that kind of has to realign or wear in or whatever to where now we're getting optimal performance. So
yeah,
like even barrel break in. Like I've talked to a lot of different precision gunsmiths, and some of them are like. Biggest thing with barrel break-in is just don't overheat it, don't abuse it. And barrel break-in has kind of become a myth with modern machining and the way we're able to hold tolerances on barrels and stuff. Just don't overheat it, and it's going to probably run just fine, and you're going to treat it well. But the whole days of shoot one, clean one, shoot one, clean one,
I did that once. I did that. I bought a Howa 1500 package from like I think I paid $4.99. It came with the scope and everything. And I took it to the range. I shot it. I cleaned it. Shot 2 shots, cleaned it. I did that all day. And the guy showed up next to me, brand new gun, just shot the hell out of it. And he was shooting circles around me. And he's like, yeah, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep.
All right. So let me ask you, as a gun person, you've shot a lot of guns. What is your current EDC? Let's do an EDC check. Because
What day of the week?
really? Are you serious? Does it depend on your outfit?
Sometimes, yes. If I'm wearing boots, I definitely need. No, I'm kidding. My summer EDC was a Glock 43X that was done up by the guys at Danger Close, so it was stippled and stuff. But it was a
Nice.
43X with a Holosun EPS and a Streamlight TLR, whatever the little one, 7 something A, whatever.
Nice.
That was like my summer, shorts and a t-shirt inside the waistband gun. And then as I'm waiting on some holsters for Staccato CS and my C2, and then I'll probably like winter, fall, where I have a little extra layer I can get by with a little bit bigger of a gun. And it's just a little more comfortable with like jeans and stuff like that. Like in the summer, I am like shorts and a t-shirt, so I like something that's light and slick. But I'd like to carry probably the Staccato CS or C2. Otherwise, it was pretty boringly. It was just a Glock 19 that had a red dot and a light and stuff too. But nothing.
Nice.
Like for all the cool stuff that I own, you'd think it'd be something cool and exotic, but it was just mostly bare bones, compared to other stuff. But now I want to probably carry the CS. That CS is a cool little gun. The C2 is one of my favorites.
That would be a cool gun to carry. Just when you whip it out. Let's check the chat real quick. Any questions? See JJ. I clean my guns once a year. I clean my 22 every time I shoot. Yeah, 22s I do clean every time just because
they are dirty.
They get dirty. They're dirty birds. Let's see. Nutty. I just got home from buying an Edelbrock Performance SBC intake off of Marketplace. Oh, okay. Nice. First one I bought, stated 200 round break-in, over 1,000 rounds so far, never a hiccup. And what's Rainier beer?
Rainier beer. It's a beer brand. It's from. It was made popular by what was that TV show?
No relation.
No relation. Nope. But we do some parody, maybe kind of some mock logos that maybe we skirt a line of. What was it? Longmire, Sheriff Walt. He drank Rainier beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is just my koozie. I'm actually enjoying a root beer. So,
oh, it's just your koozie, huh?
Minnesota made root beer, actually.
Minnesota has their own root beer.
Well, have you heard of 1919?
No.
It's made in Minnesota. It's phenomenal. It's actually a brewed root beer. I could go on and on. I love sodas as well. Everybody has their vice, but I like me a good soda.
Nice. I like cream soda. I when no one's looking, I drink a lot of cream soda.
Have you ever had Sprecher cream soda?
Is that like a tan and gold?
It comes in a bottle and it has a bee on it because they use honey as a sweetener.
No, but I'm going to look for it.
Okay, when we get offline, you should send me your address, and when I get back from the show, I'm going to send you a little soda care package.
Did we just become best friends? What?
I think so. Yep. All right, now what's your EDC? You asked me. What's your EDC?
Currently, actually, I'm a Springfield fanatic. I'm very brand loyal. And, Springfield, I bought my very first gun was an XD40 years ago. And I shoot a lot of, I own a Glock. I'm not really a Glockophile, but I shoot a XDM 9mm with a TRIGGRCON on top, RMR. And then I'm going to switch that out to, it was the Hellcat Pro, but I think I'm going to switch it out to the Echelon. I really like that gun. It's slim. It's pretty good capacity, and it just feels really good in the hands. And I just like it. I just like it. So I have a question for you. What is the cheapest gun you shot that you really, really like? Because I shot one last week. It blew me away. And I can't believe how much I like this gun.
Any gun or handgun?
Let's do handgun. Any handgun that's very inexpensive that you shot that just said, wow, this is pretty nice.
I got a demo Eric's Delta, and I think those are under $5.
Oh yeah. Those are good guns.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. Man, I feel bad. Like I kind of feel like a gun snob because it seems like most of the stuff lately that I've been getting has kind of been on the higher end. So I haven't had much entry level. Man, I think like I hate to admit it, like I think the cheapest gun I got in recently was a Ruger Mark. Was it a Mark IV 2245?
Those are great guns. That's not
They're
too
great.
cheap.
Yeah, they're stupid reliable, and now they take down easy. And I just posted a picture on my Instagram because I have it set up for like a little critter getter. So I literally put like a Holosun laser light on it and it has a red dot on it. So I'm out in my yard, like hunting these dang chipmunks. Cause I don't know about you guys, but they are like pests and they get into stuff and they cause a mess or whatever. So
You
I see these
kill
little chipmunks
chipmunks,
running around my yard and I'm like, oh, hang on. I got to
Chippendale.
go,
It's terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
So I got a Stoger STR9Z.
How do you like it?
Comes with 3 optic plates, all the
Yeah.
screws, under $300, and it's freaking phenomenal. The trigger's garbage, but $300.
Yeah.
It's such a good gun. I shoot that. I took to the range 4 times already, and I can't get over why isn't it more like 450 in that ballpark? Just because it comes with all the plates. It feels good. The fit and finish is really good, and I can understand why it's so cheap. It feels like a great gun, and it shoots phenomenal.
Nice.
So yeah, that's my new cheap. Don't sleep on that gun. It's gonna be my new truck gun. I'm gonna keep it as my truck gun.
No, I'll definitely have to check one out. I've been hearing really good things about Stogers. I think we got them in not that long ago, so I should probably try to check one out.
Yeah, that STR9C with the little optic mount. You can't. Oh, so it's funny. Everyone complains like you unscrew it, you can't get that mount off. Some people take torches to it to heat it up. I mean, you can't get the initial plate off. And I just took it to the range, and after about the second mag, it just popped off and flew away. So that's how you get that off real easy. Quick tip, everyone in the chat: if you buy one, you can't get the optic plate off, go to the range and shoot it, and it'll just shake loose. Easy peasy. All right. So what about rifles, long guns? Have you shot anything that just surprised you how good it was? Or like, wow, you were kind of expecting ho hum, and you got something like, wow, this is really nice.
No, I feel bad because I haven't gotten a ton of rifle stuff in lately. Oh, I do have to be careful because like I have sponsors and advertisers and stuff too. But I did get sent a Strybog 9mm PCC, and that thing shot really, really well. I mean, it's a 9mm, so it has some recoil, but
Right.
I got a more expensive PCC in earlier that I had to send back for warranty, and it's like twice as much money as the Strybog. And granted, it recoiled a little bit less, but it didn't run. So for me, it's like, well, what the heck, But that Strybog, and again, love Global Ordnance. They are a supporter. So if you think I'm biased or whatever, but that Strybog for a PCC, it's pretty awesome. That was a pretty fun gun to shoot. I like that. The Mossberg 940, as far as semi-auto, like tactical shotguns go, I really think they have a heck of a contender there when they're going after, the Berettas, the Benellis, and all that. A lot of people think of Mossberg as more like an entry-level brand, but that 940 that I have with an optics mount, optic ready, like for semi-auto shotguns, that's a pretty badass gun.
Yeah, I never understood why people think Mossberg is real entry level, even like their regular pump shotguns. Like I had a 590, and I thought that was great. It's fantastic. And my very first gun I bought ever was a Mossberg 500 shotgun, just because it was on sale one day, and I thought, hey, I should probably own a gun, and I went and bought it. It's crazy. It was like it's a good value. I still have it. It's the only gun I still have. I brought from California.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm trying to think of other stuff that's kind of surprised me. That's a really good question. No, I'll admit I've kind of been in my bias sphere, if you will, of like you kind of figure out what you like, and then you try to work with more companies in that space because you're kind of onto something, and then you kind of just comfortable with what you're comfortable with. So
right.
I feel like this year all I'm reviewing is like single action guns. Like what's in the queue is all these different X11 type guns, and I feel like I'm being a little more biased to that genre right now, but that's just kind of what I'm into. is just kind of that right now. So
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking at your R&D Precision PW9 V2.
that was
Well,
pretty cool too.
that looks pretty sweet. Yeah, you look like you got a lot of really cool stuff on your YouTube channel. Again, I just posted a link to his YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber, please click like and subscribe to Guns and Tactics. That is Dave's YouTube channel.
I appreciate the plug, man. I'll make sure to give you guys a plug on my next live stream as well. I'm having fun. It's kind of cool to do this on somebody else's channel. Like I started doing some live stream on mine, and it I will say this too. I don't know if you've noticed. You said you've been doing live streams for a while, and one of the things that I've noticed is that I have so much more respect for live streamers who do a good job, because like trying to manage the software and the comments and the audio,
Right.
and like it is so easy for you to have technical issues, and
Which happens a lot.
I know, right?
But yeah, I dig it. I like a good live stream. There's some live streams I can't watch just because either one or two of the people on it, I'm like, they drag it down for me. Let's see. Green Team Gear said my EDC is 43X with 15 round mags. You know, that's one Glock I like. I like the 43X. I think it's a great gun. Ron Wayne says I did put mine in a rubber tooth vise to break the screws loose for the optic plate. You know, for the you don't have to do that for the Stoker. Just shoot it and it'll just pop right off after a couple mags. JJ says, I hear Stoker has good shotguns. Yeah, I have their double defense. Now, look, it's a coach gun. It's 2 shots, but it's their tactical coach gun. So there's rails on top and the side. It looks freaking awesome. Is it practical? Probably not. Am I going to use it for a home defense gun? No. But it looks really cool, and I think you should just get one just because it looks so freaking cool. Yeah, let's see. Ron says, I'm hearing they're good too. Yeah, don't sleep on that gun. Ron says, sounds like a terrific birthday present. Nutty, that's a cool shot you smashed. I'm glad you still got that. Yeah, it was really cool. I shot Dan the firearm guy. Had one up in Michigan, and I shot it and did a quick little video on it, and I just fell in love, and I had to get my hands on one.
You know, and I got to give a plug to Dan as well. Thomas, I think, found him, and he referred us to you, I believe, if I'm remembering.
Oh, really cool. Yeah, correct. Dan's like my YouTube guru. Like, when it was funny, I was up there filming videos. I go, Dan, what are you going to do? We're going to go to my place and film like 10, 15 videos. In 2 days? He goes, no, probably today. I'm like, what? So he gets a gun. Nope. Check this out, Dave. Dan will get a gun. He'll look at it. He already knows all about it. And he goes, cool. One take, done. Shooting portion, done. Next. He knocked out like 6 or 7 videos. No problem. And here I am overthinking everything. Camera angles, slow motion. You know, you got the mag dump intro. And I was just overthinking all my videos. I actually restructured a lot of my stuff after shooting with him.
I think sometimes there is some truth to it is quantity over quality sometimes.
You got to keep it simple too.
Yeah. Yep. And ironically, like the best viewed video that I ever made, one of them on the channel is from a show, and it was a folding Glock. So that one got a bunch. I don't count that one. But the most highly viewed video that I made, I went out and grabbed my camera, and I'm doing the thing and I'm talking, and it's a pretty low production value. I had my mic, I had the camera, and even at the end of it, like the camera caught something and it went out of focus. I didn't catch it until I'm editing, you know, but it was one of those things where it's like, I need to publish this because it's timely. The search traffic it's trending, and nobody cared. Like not one person said like, oh, your autofocus lost you. Nobody cared, you know? And like, I put so much effort into like trying to make the background good and make sure I'm in focus and the framing and all this. And then you see some of the other stuff out there, and it's like, sometimes you just can't let perfection get in the way of good enough, you know? And that's tough for me, you know, to really accept.
Yeah. I get a lot of people that are like kind of camera snobs. They're like, oh, they'll carry these giant tripods and all that stuff. But Like I did so many good videos at SHOT Show just with my cell phone, and I have a cell phone. I have a little ND filter for it. I have a, I got my little tricks I use for it. But man, I did one at the PSA booth, just handheld, making sure I was getting the good audio, and no mics, nothing. They got 300,000 views in like a week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Audio is more important.
Video.
I have a few tricks for audio. I use like wireless mic and stuff, but if you,
I just got a cool. So check this out. Since you're
it's amazing how the good video is that you're getting from phones these days.
You're kind of an audio geek. What did I do with those other parts? So check this out. I got this for my phone. This plugs in the bottom of the phone. It's a receiver.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 wireless mics for it.
Yep.
It's like $45. So I'm going to mess with this week, and see how I can do it. But it plugs right into the bottom of the phone and lasts 12 hours on a charge. That's more than enough. So I'm going to goof around with that, see if I can test it out a little bit, but just have a lot of fun. Cell phone, I mean, if I go use it outside, no, but indoors when the lighting is always changing and I don't want to mess with ISO and all that junk, cell phone's the way to go for me personally.
No, I'm amazed. I am absolutely amazed in how good cell phone video has gotten. Like I remember when I got my first iPhone, whatever it was that did 1080, and I was watching the footage and I was just like blown away that this phone is doing almost as good of a job as my big camcorder, like my big fancy Canon camcorder, whatever. And it's crazy. And now like the 15's coming out. I can't wait to get the 15 because that's going to have even better cameras. Like I'm a tech nerd. Like if I wasn't into firearms, and maybe in hindsight, I probably should have went into like, the tech space.
Who's
so
your
less
favorite
controversial.
Tech reviewer?
But I would love to do like tech reviews and all that kind of stuff.
Who's your favorite tech reviewer that you watch?
Probably everybody was going to say like MKBHD. But honestly, he's a camera guy out of Canada. Tyler Stallman.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but then I also watch like Frono's Photo and Gerald Don and DSLR Video.
You watch Flossie Carter?
No, what's that one? I'll have to look that one up.
Flossie Carter's this guy from New York who started reviewing phones from like the Nokia flip phone.
Okay.
And he's so funny. Like he's just like this LL Cool J rapper who's been doing video reviews for like 12 years now, since YouTube was before YouTube,
Yeah,
and,
cool.
It's his videos are hilarious, and it's you'll go down a rabbit hole and you'll start watching some of his camera reviews, his phone reviews, and they're pretty funny. He's got a lot of innuendo jokes, so he sticks in there. Let's check the chat. Who's in the chat? We got Van Breezy. What is the VIP dinner ticket package? See, that's another question I was just going to ask. So the VIP dinner package, what does that entail? That is Friday night, correct?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Is that Saturday night?
Friday night.
Friday night.
So we have a couple of cool things going on. Number one, you can get a ticket to just the show event or just the range. However, as far as cost goes, if you're going to go to both, you're better off getting what we call the bang for your buck package. And the bang for your buck package is the best bang for your buck because you're saving a little bit of money, and that's $40. That'll get you into the range on Sunday and the show on Friday, Saturday. However, if you wanted to do just one or the other, it's $25 each. And then we do have what's called the all access party, which includes all of that plus the VIP party. And the VIP party is $100 on its own. And it might seem a little steep, but it's an awesome time. We're going to have good food, beverages. But the biggest thing is that is a fundraiser for our nonprofit organization called Resilient Warrior, which that organization is solely focused on helping our vets and first responders with either resources for transition times, life building skills, housing, resources, trying to really give back to those that have given a lot to our country and our community. So again, it's all focused on vets and first responders, and it is a nonprofit organization. So that is the main fundraiser for the VIP party. And the cool thing with the VIP party is that if you're into hanging out with like gun people and like serious rubbing shoulders with like the who's who of the industry of who's going to be at our show, All of our exhibitors are given 2 tickets to come to the show. However, after those 2 tickets, they have to buy their own, and that's where we give away the Golden Trigger Awards. That's where you get to hang out, and it's a really, really good time. But again, the biggest thing is it's also our annual big fundraiser for Resilient Warriors. So that's what the $100 ticket is for. But you can get like an all access for $125. So then you'd get arena show, VIP party, arena show, range day, and everything. Basically all in one. You're getting all, and you get a commemorative VIP badge.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That sounds, it's funny. I told my wife, I was like, well, there's this $100 deal and I don't know if I'm going to go. We're saving money and we're traveling on budgets and all that. And then she goes, oh, it's for a charity. You're going. I go, okay. She goes, yeah, it's charity. You have to go. You don't want to be.
Well, bring some money because we also have silent auctions and
Nice.
some giveaways. We have over $30,000 worth of prizes that we're going to be doing like silent auction and bidding and stuff for.
Outstanding. I will do that for sure. Let's see. Rainier Arms Media says the VIP party is at the Stearman Field Bar and Grill.
Yep. Cool place. Really cool place. Fiesta themed. So I hope you're DTF down to Fiesta.
Look, I'm from Texas now. It's so funny. I was born and raised in California, but I tell everyone I'm just a Texan. I'm a born again Texan now. We Fiesta like crazy down here. That's how we roll.
Yep.
Don't forget the Fiesta theme. See? Good. Dave's all over it, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yep. I even got a cool Fiesta shirt that I'm going to be debuting at the show.
A Fiesta shirt? Oh, I don't have a Fiesta shirt. Do we get extra points for sombreros?
I'd give you extra points. In my book, you would.
Maybe. Fresh Mex. I don't know how good the Mexican food is in Kansas. We're going to find out. Is it from Retro Rifle?
My Saturday shirt is from Retro Rifle.
Your Saturday shirt's from Retro Rifle. What is Retro Rifle? Is that a brand you guys carry?
No, they actually, it's a shirt company. They're a direct-to-consumer shirt company, but they make all sorts of like Hawaiian shirts that are based on either like movies or pop culture. But it's actually, they make some pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
Good quality shirts too.
I'm going to have to get one. Well, let's see. TriggerCon, September 22nd, 23, 24. And I always tell people, I tell people events like this, how far would I drive to go to this event? Right? Well, I'm flying to it. So obviously I really want to go to it. But if I was in that area, I would drive a solid 3 hours to attend this. I think it's worth it because it's something we don't get to do every day. These vendors are top of the line vendors. I mean, it's going to be a good time. So if you're in the area and you want to go to TriggerCon, the first 2 people that email me that they want to go to TriggerCon and they can go, 4, we'll give them passes, just a day pass, or we're going to do
I'm going to do 4 bang for your buck tickets. So they'll get into the arena and range day.
Nice. So we'll get 4 bang for your buck tickets. You have to email me that smash_time@yahoo.com.
4.
And, yeah, that's going to be a good time. We'll do 4 tickets. Nice.
I got you hooked up. And being that we're so close to the show, I'll probably have them at will call for somebody. But we'll make sure we get them in the door.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll get their information. I'll get it to you.
Yeah. If Fluffy will drive from Michigan, are you really going to drive from Michigan? You Michigander?
He can barely walk right now. Fluffy, what are you talking about? He's all crippled up.
It's there's an elevator, so he could.
Fluffy, make sure you're still buttoning it in the back. We don't want to be flashing the neighbors. No, man, I got the best subscribers. I got some cool guys. All right, Dave, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything, words of wisdom you want to leave with the chat?
Well, I probably don't have much. It's been a lot of fun. Like I said, it's actually kind of nice to be just, the guest where I can just show up and hang out and talk. And I feel like I've ranted probably way too much. So thanks for letting me chat. It's, I had a lot of fun with this, and I appreciate you having us on and helping out the show. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. And I think we'll have a good time. And obviously, first 4 people, if you're going to email, I'd like to meet you guys in person as well. And if you're into patches, I'll probably bring some of our limited edition patches to hand out as well. I kind of like patches, as you can see by the wall. So it's always a good time. But yeah, as far as other advice, man, right now the industry is really hurting. So if you have opportunities to support small businesses, mom and pop shops, companies that you enjoy, that you like, I would recommend doing that, because right now the industry needs all the help that it can get. There's a lot of companies that are either going under that we talked about earlier, or ones that are really hurting. So if you want to support, somebody in the industry, now would be the time to do it, because there's a lot of companies that are in rough shape.
Yeah, support your local gun store. We're all in this together, because like there's not enough good things you can say. You just got to support as many people in the two-way movement as you can, because once they're gone, who who's left? Who's left? Join GOA if you're not a member of GOA. And yeah, that's it. And Dave, thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to meet you in person. I can't wait to check out that shirt. Now I gotta find a cool shirt in the extra fluffy size, because I don't think I could fit the regular off the shelf stuff. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're in the area and you want to go to TriggerCon, email me. He's got 4 passes. It's going to be a good time. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm going to put a link to Dave's channel in the chat. Please like and subscribe to his channel. Let's grow his subscriber base a little bit more and keep the movement alive. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.